Hello once again, dear viewers. You're watching ERi-TV. Welcome to our news broadcast. Here are the headlines. Dairy Farmers Association Ginda Subzone holds 3rd Congress. Community-based environmental sanitation program in Sarona. China says it signed security pact with Solomon Islands. Multiple blasts rock school in Afghan capital, more than 20 killed. In our domestic news, Dairy Farmers Association in Ginda Subzone held its 3rd Congress on 15 April. According to reports presented by the Secretary of the Association, Mr. Madhani Yohannes, activities of the association have been halted for 3 years due to the regulations issued to curb the spread of COVID-19 pandemic, and that the association has distributed about 400,000 liters of milk to institutions and to the public. Regarding supply of animal feed, Mr. Madhani said that previously they have been dependent from byproducts from the Asmara brewery, and currently they are getting enough fodder from the Livestock and Crops Corporation with fair price, and that the problem has been alleviated. Indicating the importance of grouping of associations in easing the daily activities, the administrator of the subzone, Mr. Omar Yahya, called on members to ensure the health of their cows and their products. The participants on their part conducted extensive discussion on the reports presented and elected executive committee for a 2-year term. The Dairy Farmers Association in Ginda Subzone was established in 2012 and has 238 members. Nurse Tsahaye Abiyo, head of the health service in Sarona subzone, indicated that community-based environmental sanitation activity has been implemented in the 27 villages, and the remaining 29 villages are expected to implement the program in the near future. Commending the interest and commitment of the villages demonstrated in the implementation of the program, Mr. Tsahaye said that sustainable awareness-raising activities will be conducted in the remaining villages to encourage the residents to implement the program. Pointing out that healthy environment is the basis for a healthy society, Mr. Kidane Mesfun, head of the public health at the Ministry of Health branch in the Southern Region, and Mr. Adhanom Mawal, head of public health in Sarona subzone, called on the public to reinforce participation in the implementation of the chartered out development programs. The residents on their part expressed resolve to strengthen participation in the implementation of the program. The Bee Farmers Association Abba Honey in Saganeti subzone reported that they are exerting strong effort to develop capacity and honey production. According to Father Solomon Kiflamariam, chairman of the association established in 2017 under the auspices of the Ministry of Agriculture is developing capacity and production from time to time. The association, which comprises 28 members and that owns over 320 beehives, is currently preparing to open honey market institutions with the support and guidance of the Ministry of Agriculture. Father Solomon further stated that the training and the 50 modern beehives they received from the Ministry of Agriculture is significantly contributing in the development of their association. Father Solomon also called on members to seek advice from the agriculture experts in case they encounter problems in their daily activities. That was our domestic news. Please stay tuned for the international right after a short break. China said today it has signed a security pact with the Solomon Islands, a move set to heighten the concerns of the United States and allies Australia and New Zealand about growing Chinese influence in a region traditionally under their sway. The framework pact was recently signed by State Councillor and Foreign Minister Wang Yi and Solomon Islands Foreign Minister Jeremiah Menele. Australian officials said it appeared the announcement had been made by Beijing ahead of the arrival of the White House officials in Honiara. Canberra is concerned that the pact, details of which have not been made public, would be a step towards a Chinese military presence less than 2,000 kilometers from Australia. Australia's Foreign Minister Maurice Payne said Australia was deeply disappointed and continued to seek further clarity on the terms of the agreement, noting the signing had been announced by the Chinese government. Earlier today, the Parliament of the Pacific Islands nation was told that China would send officials to the Solomons next month to sign cooperation pact, although the Chinese embassy and Solomon Islands officials had previously annihilated the security pact that would allow Chinese police to protect infrastructure and social order. Ministers have not yet signed it. Yesterday, the White House said a high-level U.S. delegation, including Indo-Pacific Coordinator Kurt Campbell, would also travel to Honiara this week to discuss concerns about China, as well as the reopening of a U.S. embassy. At least 2 powerful explosions ripped through a boys' school in a Shia-dominated neighborhood of Kabul today, killing more than 20 students. The death toll is likely to mount, according to Afghan security officials, as cited by media outlets. Local reports and eyewitnesses said a suicide bomber targeted a school in West Kabul's Deshte Marchi, a predominantly Shia neighborhood. The blast occurred at the main exit of Abdul Rahim Shahid School when students were leaving the school premises after morning classes. Photographs and videos from the aftermath of the powerful explosions showed mutilated bodies lying on the ground, discarded notebooks, and people ferrying the injured in ambulances. The bombing comes 2 weeks before the first anniversary of the bombing of Said ul Shuhada High School in western Kabul that killed at least 90 students and wounded scores more, most of them teenage girls leaving class. No group has so far claimed responsibility for the attack, but analysts believe it could be the handiwork of the Daesh terrorist group, which has witnessed a resurgence since the Taliban's sweeping takeover of the country last August. Meanwhile, quoting eyewitnesses, Tolo News and Etalat newspaper also reported a blast near Mumtaz training center in the west of Kabul today, which resulted from a hand grenade. At least 6 people were wounded in the attack. The students had reportedly gathered there to prepare for a university entrance examination. Please stay tuned now for a recap of tonight's headlines. Dairy Farmers Association Kinda Subzone holds 3rd Congress. Community-based environmental sanitation programs in Zarona. China says it signed security pact with Solomon Islands. Multiple blasts rock school in Afghan capital. More than 20 have so far been killed. And that was our news for tonight, dear viewers. It is good night from us.